What our next question says that for an isosceles prism of angle A and refractive index mu, it is found that the angle of minimum deviation is equal to A. Now we have to tell which of the following option is are correct. This is again a multiple choice question. So for prism we should know few things. First is that angle of deviation is equal to angle of incidence plus angle of emergence minus, and the angle of prism is equal to first refractive angle and second angle which is created at the other face. Here let me draw a figure for you. So what I mean by these angles, let's say this is a normal, this is angle I, then this angle is R1, and if I draw normal here, this angle is R2, and this is my emergent ray, and this angle is E. Okay, so now in case of minimum deviation, what we know that for minimum deviation I should be equal to E. Okay, so here what we can write that for minimum deviation, let's say the angle is I1, in that case we can say that minimum deviation is equal to 2I, and we are given that minimum deviation is equal to angle of A, so it is minimum deviation again. So this is minimum deviation is equal to angle I is equal to angle A. Okay, and for minimum deviation I and E both are equal, it means that R1 will be equal to R2, and we can say that R1 will be equal to A by 2 or it will be equal to I by 2. In case of minimum deviation, this ray will be parallel to the base. Which of the option we can say directly are correct? First, for angle of incidence I1 is equal to A, the ray inside the prism is parallel to the base of the prism. In when I is equal to A, it's a condition of minimum deviation. It's mean that the ray inside the prism will be parallel to the base. This is our correct choice. Second, for minimum deviation, the incident angle I1 and refractive angle R1 at first refracting surface both are related by this relation, which we have already proved. So this is again our correct option. Now let's say what our option D says. In case of minimum deviation, we can write that mu is equal to sine A plus minimum deviation divided by 2 divided by sine A by 2. Okay, or here we can say that mu is, as A and minimum deviation both are same, so it will become 2A divided by 2, which is A. So it becomes sine A divided by sine A by 2, or we can say 2 sine A by 2 cos A by 2 divided by sine A by 2. This sine A by 2 gets cancelled and we are left with 2 cos A by 2. Or we can say that A by 2 is equal to cos inverse mu by 2, or A is equal to 2 cos inverse mu by 2. That's why our fourth option is wrong. Now let's discuss about option number 3. What our option number 3 says? I am clearing this board and then we will discuss option number 3. So if we talk about the option number C, which says that for this prism, emergent ray at second surface will be tangential to the surface when the angle of incidence at first surface is I1, and we are given with the value of I1. Let's say that our emergent ray is tangential to the surface. It means that our angle inside the prism, this angle is equal to QC. As we know, this R2 and R1 are equal to A, so this remaining angle will be equal to A minus QC. Okay. This is our incident angle. So here we can say that sine I1, that is equal to mu into sine of A minus QC. So that's our first equation. Okay, or we can write it as sine I1 is equal to mu sine A cos QC minus mu sine QC cos A. Okay, Now from the previous equation which we discussed, mu is equal to, we initially found that mu is equal to 2 cos A by 2. This we have already proved when we were discussing for option number D. Okay. And for QC and mu, what we can say that mu into sin QC will be equal to 1. This is for critical angle. Okay. Now here what we can see that mu QC, this will be equal to 1, we can neglect it, and here what we can write that mu sin A, and then cos QC we can write as 1 minus sin square QC minus this is 1, so remaining is cos A. Okay. Now if I take mu inside the root, I will get sin A root of mu square minus mu sin QC whole square minus cos A. Now mu sin QC is 1, so I will be left with sin A. Now putting the value of mu, what we have mu as 2 cos A by 2, so I can write 4 cos square A by 2 minus 1 minus cos A, this is the value of sin I 1, or I can say I1 is equal to sin inverse of whole of this expression, which is our option number C. So option number C is also correct.